Hi, I'm Scott. I'm a Quiet Place fan.
Hi, I'm Senthil, and I'm a Bird Box fan.
So the two of us have decided, since we disagree, we're going to start watching as many horror movies as we can and come up with a new way of rate them. Come join us.
Good morning, Scott. Welcome to another episode of Offline.
Hey, good morning, Simple. I'm really excited to be here. It's Christmas morning, so Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Here we are discussing fascinating horror movies on Christmas.
Two wonderful Christmas hits that have nothing to do with Christmas for your viewing pleasure today, or whenever you decide to watch these. So, Simple, what you picked a doozy. So what movie did you pick for us to watch?
100 Bloody Acres from 2012. It's an Australian super micro budget movie. And what'd you think?
So I'm going to say I actually really enjoyed this film. It was I like films like this that are that Tucker and Dale versus evil kind of feel to it, right? It's horror, but it knows that it's campy horror, and it knows that it's all about the humor on what's taking place. And so when it started, I was like, but as it got into it, I actually started to enjoy it more and more.
I did too. I first picked because I was specifically looking for low budget movies that were reviewed well. And this received some acclaim because it's very simple. There's not a lot of complication to it, either in terms of sets or effects or even storyline, for that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's straightforward. So what are your thoughts about this movie, Scott?
So here's the thing. I like this movie for what it was, right? It was, fertilizer business. It was very Motel Hell. I don't know if anybody remembers Motel Hell from, it was an early 1980s film where the name of the hotel was Motel Hello, but the O never worked, so Motel Hell. And the guy basically picked up, accident victims and buried them up to their neck and fed them through tubes to make their sausage. Well, this is basically that same premise, and I'm not going to give too much away anyway, but I mean, they find accident victims and then turn them into fertilizer, right? So their business goes up through the roof. This one has a feel, this is where that Tucker and Dale kind of thing comes in, because now one of the main characters who's been taking people as roadkill falls in love with one of the, with the female character in this thing, right? So it's this weird hillbilly falls in love with, country city girl, and then all hell breaks loose. Where this film fell down a little bit for me was towards the end, in this weird relationship with the other guy and the older female character, who I can't tell if that was his mom or what that was, but it got weird. It got so bizarre.
Yeah, the very disturbing scene with the more psychotic of the two brothers and the older woman, the very disturbing sex scene. I don't really know what to make of that, because it didn't really seem to contribute to the story in any way, other than potentially they were going for the comedy aspect. That
I think it was the comedy, Senthil. I mean, right? Because he's trying to get something from his, brother or whatever's tool belt. And then, I mean, that was the dynamic I couldn't pick up. There was a movie that came out a while ago, and anyway, it was this mom and son that were having a relationship. I don't know if you ever saw that. She was in a cast and
Yes.
bedridden. Okay, so that movie disturbed the living crap out of me. And it was almost this dynamic, right, where this was a son and mom, and because you never know, right? There's nothing in the movie that tells you anything other than that. So it was disturbing. And I think they were trying to go for a comedic kind of this effect to it, right? And it didn't. That was the one thing. It didn't work. It didn't work.
No, it didn't work. There were other elements, the comedic elements verbally delivered that did go across when he says, get you there, ASPIC.
Yes.
And then there was, if the stars were maligned.
I love the stars were maligned. If the stars were maligned.
The physical comedy, the Swiss Army knife landing on his leg, the obsession that one of the captees has with how often his girlfriend had sex with his best friend.
Yes.
So there were comedy elements that did work. Did you see, speaking of comedy elements, the post-credit scene?
There was a post-credit scene. I missed a post-credit. What?
At the very end. At the very end, I don't know what to make of the post-credit scene. They were looking for a physical comedy. Basically, the brother who is, or I should say, the captive friend who escapes,
Yeah.
kind of flagged down another truck, and the truck just plows right through him and kills him. And the guy inside is like a potato farmer apparently, and you just hear him say, "He promised me my bags," and that was it. At the very end, after all the credits are rolled. So that was,
So he promised me my bag. So yeah, so he was Charlie, the guy that didn't get his fertilizer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I thought the movie could have been a little bit shorter because it was
It drug.
It drug. I thought this was better probably as a shorter movie, and the concept was simple. The effects, the meat grinder effects, I thought were pretty effective. Visually,
I thought they were too. I thought the ending was it was a Tucker and Dale ending, right? Where the gets the girl, but in a very weird way, right? It's just this very strange, I thought the movie ended in a very weird way, but it wasn't like I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a fun watch.
They did a good job with as probably their first movie. The shock elements in it when the original roadkill, they thought he was dead until they start putting him through the meat grinder.
Yes. Yeah.
It was definitely a little bit different. So final thoughts, is this something that you'd recommend others to watch?
Yeah, I mean, look, I would recommend this one kind of like a Tucker versus Dale. I mean, if you're looking for horror, but more of a slapstick comedy kind of thing with some gore to it, this is one of those movies I would say, check it out. I mean, there was enough redeeming value in this film that I would absolutely tell people, go ahead and give it a watch. It's worth the hour, and I think it was an hour and 30 minutes roughly. And so it's a first time film from Cameron Carnes and Colin Carnes. I mean, for a first time film, bravo.
I agree. It had some definite potential. The comedy element showed some potential for what they could do in the future.
Yes.
As we got more experience. So I would definitely say, I definitely recommend it and give it a watch as well.